Monday morning, I did nothing. My alarm went off at 6. I made coffee, I sat on the couch, and while I was reading the news, 5 agent skills were already running, scanning trending AI stories, drafting my newsletter, extracting social media posts, qualifying consulting leads, and compiling a weekly report. By 9:07, the whole chain was done. Content published, leads in my pipeline, report in my inbox. I had not touched the keyboard. 5 plain English files ran my business for 7 straight days. Total cost, $2.31, and one of those 5 skills almost burned $400 before I caught the problem. I will tell you exactly what went wrong and the one sentence that saved me. One agent skill is powerful, but it is also limited. After it finishes, it just stops, sits there, waiting for you to come back and tell it what to do next. I ran into this wall 3 weeks ago. I had 5 agent skills, each one a markdown file, plain English instructions, no code, a research skill that scanned news sources, a writing skill that drafted newsletter editions, a social media extractor, a lead qualifier, a report generator. 5 solid employees, each one saving me 30 to 45 minutes a day on its task. But every morning looked the same. I would open my terminal, run the research skill, wait, read the output, run the writing skill, wait, read the draft, run the social extractor, wait, run the lead qualifier, wait, run the report compiler. 5 skills, 5 manual triggers. 5 times I had to sit there, read the output, and decide, okay, now run the next one. 25 human decisions per week. I had saved time on each individual task, sure, but I was still the project manager, still the one walking between desks, handing off files, saying, your turn. I had automated the work, but not the workflow. And that is the ceiling most people hit with agent skills. You have got a team of employees who do excellent work, but they are all sitting in separate rooms, unable to talk to each other. You are the hallway. You are the relay. You are the bottleneck. Then a thought hit me at 2 in the morning. What if I just removed myself from the chain? What if skill 1's output automatically became skill 2's input? Like a relay race where each runner passes the baton without me standing in the middle. That is what I tested for 7 days. 5 skills, 1 chain, 0 human involvement after the initial setup. Here are the exact 5 skills I chained together. Each one is a markdown file, plain English, no code, sitting in a single project folder. Skill 1, trendscanner.md. 3 instructions. Search 5 AI news sources for trending stories from the last 24 hours. Filter for the 3 most relevant. Save them with summaries to my research folder. Safety sentence at the bottom. If the task is not complete after 3 attempts, save progress and stop. If costs exceed $2, halt and report. Skill 2, newsletterwriter.md. Read today's research from the research folder. Draft an 800-word newsletter edition using my voice and formatting rules. Save to the drafts folder. This is the skill that turns raw intelligence into something a human actually wants to read. Same safety sentence. Skill 3, socialextractor.md. Read the latest newsletter draft, extract 5 LinkedIn posts and 5 tweets optimized for each platform's format. Save each to the social content folder. 1 newsletter edition becomes 10 pieces of social content. Same safety sentence. Skill 4, leadqualifier.md. This one runs independently. It does not need the newsletter. 3 instructions. Scan 3 freelance platforms for AI consulting projects. Filter for budgets above $2,000. Summarize the 5 best leads with links and budget details. Same safety sentence. Skill 5, weeklyreport.md. Compile results from all 4 skills. How many articles found, newsletter status, social posts extracted, leads qualified, into a 1-page executive summary. Save to the reports folder with today's date. 5 files, maybe 60 lines of English total. Each one ends with the same safety sentence that prevents runaway costs. That sentence, if the task is not complete after 3 attempts, save progress and stop, is non-negotiable. During testing, before I started the week, Skill 1 hit a rate limit on one of the news sources and started retrying in a loop. 12 retries in 40 seconds. I caught it immediately because I was watching, but if I had not, that loop would have burned through $400 of API calls overnight. One sentence stopped it. Write it into every skill, no exceptions. I put together a free cheat sheet with 50 AI business ideas that actually work, including 3 skill chain templates you can copy tonight. The link is in the description. Now, here is what happened when I actually ran the chain for a week. And I need to tell you about Wednesday because the chain broke. And what happened next changed how I think about all of this. Monday, 9 a.m. I type one command, the chain trigger that runs all 5 skills in sequence. Then I watched. Skill 1 scanned the news sources. 3 trending articles found and summarized in 90 seconds. Skill 2 read those summaries, drafted an 800-word newsletter edition, saved it. Skill 3, read the newsletter, extracted 5 LinkedIn posts and 5 tweets. Skill 4, running independently, scanned 3 freelance platforms, found 4 consulting leads above $2,000. Skill 5, compiled everything into a 1-page executive report. 6 minutes, 47 cents, done. I closed my laptop at 9:07 and went for a walk. Tuesday, same command, fresh results. The newsletter covered different trends. The leads were new listings from overnight. The social posts were unique, 42 cents, nothing I did manually. Wednesday morning, everything changed. The news API I was using went down. Skill 1 tried once, failed, tried again, failed, tried a third time, failed, and then did exactly what I had told it to. It saved its partial results, 1 article instead of 3, and stopped. Here is what I expected to happen next. The whole chain crashes. Skill 2 cannot write a newsletter from 1 article. The week is broken. That is not what happened. Skill 2 read the partial research, 1 article instead of 3, and wrote a shorter newsletter. Shorter, but complete. Skill 3 read the shorter newsletter and extracted fewer posts. 3 LinkedIn posts instead of 5, 3 tweets instead of 5. Fewer, but usable. Skill 4 ran independently, found fresh leads as usual. Skill 5 compiled everything into a slightly thinner report, noted that Monday's research was partial, and flagged it. The chain did not crash, it degraded gracefully. Each skill worked with whatever it received, because every skill was designed to do its job with the input it gets, not to demand perfection from the previous step. I had not built this on purpose. There is no error handling section in those markdown files, no try-catch blocks, no fallback logic. It emerged naturally from writing simple, clear instructions with safety sentences. When you tell a skill, save your progress and stop after 3 attempts, the next skill in the chain inherits that resilience. The system healed itself because I told each piece to be responsible, and responsibility cascaded through the whole chain. Thursday, the API was back, full results. Friday, full results again. But Friday is the day I need to tell you about. I checked my newsletter analytics Friday evening, expecting the usual numbers. My manually written editions average a 31% open rate. That is decent. Industry average for creator newsletters is around 22%. I was proud of 31. Friday's automated newsletter, 42%. I refreshed the page, still 42. I read the newsletter again. It was genuinely good, not just competent, good. Specific data points I would not have found manually because I only checked 2 sources in the morning. The chain's research skill checked 5. More raw material meant richer content. Richer content meant better subject lines extracted by the social skill, which I had used as the newsletter subject line. Multi-pass quality. Each skill refined what the previous skill produced. And here is the part that shifted something in me, the consistency. Every edition followed the same structure, the same tone, the same length. No tired on Friday quality drops. No running late, so I will cut this short. The chain does not get tired. It does not have bad days, it just runs. Tuesday's edition was as strong as Monday's. Friday's was the best of the week because it had the richest research input. I did not just automate the work, I automated the quality. If you are starting to see how this changes things, how a chain of plain English files can run an entire business operation, subscribe so I can keep showing you what is next. Because skills chaining is just the beginning. Wait until you see what happens when chains start triggering other chains. By Sunday, the totals for the week were 5 newsletter editions published, 50 social media posts extracted and ready to schedule, 20 qualified leads in my pipeline, 5 executive reports archived. Total API cost $2.31. Time spent after the Monday morning setup 0. Not almost 0. Not just a few minutes of checking 0. Let me put that in perspective. A virtual assistant doing this work manually, researching, writing, creating social posts, qualifying leads, compiling reports, would cost you $15 to $25 an hour. At 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, that is $400 to $500. My chain did the same work for $2.31. That is a 99.5% cost reduction. Not an exaggeration, not a theoretical projection, the actual math from an actual week. This pattern is not just a solo founder trick. The world's biggest companies are running the same logic at massive scale, and the numbers are staggering. Walmart deployed an autonomous inventory agent that changed demand forecasting with restocking decisions. One agent spots declining stock, another calculates optimal order quantities, a third executes the purchase. Result? 22% increase in e-commerce sales in pilot regions. Ciena chained AI across 100 IT and HR workflows. Tasks that used to require manager approvals over days now resolve in minutes. A PwC survey found 79% of US organizations already run AI agents in production, with 66% reporting measurable productivity gains. Gartner says 40% of enterprise apps will embed task-specific AI agents by the end of this year, up from less than 5% last year. That is the steepest adoption curve in enterprise history. The average ROI across AI agent deployments? 171%. A dollar invested returns $3.60 in year 1 and over $12 by year 5. The returns compound because the chains learn and improve with every run. But you do not need Walmart's budget. You do not need Ciena's engineering team. A 2-skill chain costs less than a coffee and takes 15 minutes to set up. Think about your morning. What is the first thing you do that feels like drudgery? Checking industry news? Scanning competitor pricing? Reviewing overnight emails? Whatever it is, that is your research skill. Write a markdown file that does that scanning for you. Now think about what you do with that information. Write a summary, draft a client update, create a social post. That is your writing skill. A second markdown file that reads the first skill's output and produces something useful. 2 skills, 1 chain. Run it tomorrow morning and watch what happens. That first moment, when skill 2 reads skill 1's output and delivers a finished result you did not touch, is the moment you realize you are not the bottleneck anymore. The chain is. And once you have 2 skills talking to each other, you will want 3, then 5. Then you will wake up on a Monday morning, type 1 command and do nothing, just like I did. Everything from this video, the 5 skill files, the chain template, the safety sentence format, is inside our free community, Zero to AI Founder. The link is in the description. Post your first chain and watch what the other members are building. Some of them are running 10 skill chains now. It gets ridiculous fast. Monday morning I did nothing. My chain did everything. 5 plain English files. $2.31. A business that ran itself for a week. Next Monday morning, yours can too. You are not someone who uses AI anymore. You are someone who builds AI teams. And those teams just learned how to talk to each other.